Who is this?
Who's this?
This is Danny.
Hey, Danny, this is Tommy Thayer.
Okay.
Sure.
Obviously, you're a member of KISS and an official member, but I would assume you were definitely a fan at one point.
Well, actually, I still am a huge KISS fan.
Well, of course, yeah.
Take pride. The only difference is I'm in the band now.
Yeah, but, they're paying you to say that now.
Yeah. No, I'd still say whether I was getting paid or not. But no, the great thing is that I grew up, like I said, in Portland, and I was a big, huge KISS fan from the early days back in the early 70s when KISS came out with their first record in 1974. I asked my parents if I could get it for Christmas in 1974, and I did. Yeah, they're immediately one of my favorite bands, and always have been. It's what KISS represented and what they looked like, and what their stage show was, and just the whole vibe of the band was everything that wrapped up into what I thought was the coolest thing going. I mean, it was theatrical, it was loud, it was rock and roll, it was flamboyant, it was great guitars, lots of amplifiers on stage, things blowing up, great songs, great music. It's, everything that, anybody could ever want in a band. And I think that was their credo when they started, was they wanted to create the band that nobody had seen before, and that's exactly what they did. So yeah, and it's you're right. I mean, KISS's influence on people and their philosophy of life, and it's kind of follow your dreams, follow your passions, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Is kind of the philosophy behind KISS, and then just musically as a band, they've influenced so many. KISS has influenced so many artists and people coming up that are musicians and big name people today that
And is that would you credit them to inspiring you to play guitar in the first place when you first got into the band?
I think that there might have been a little influence of it was KISS, and then there was other bands too, and
who else were you into?
Oh, back in the day it was Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and KISS and Aerosmith and and so on. So, but I just when every kid turns 13, 14 years old, suddenly your life is changing. I mean, you're finding out about rock and roll and going to concerts and girls. Everything's going on, and playing guitar and the electric guitar in particular was something that caught my attention immediately when that was all happening, and I wanted to play guitar. So the main reason I wanted to play guitar is because it looked so cool. You get up there on stage with long hair and wearing some kind of cool clothes, and you got this electric guitar kind of slung down low. You couldn't do any better than that as far as I was concerned.
There's probably questions you get every time, but I know some people get a little up in arms about Ace, and that you still play you're playing the character that Ace used to play, so to speak.
Right.
What are your feelings about that? I don't know if you've...
Well, I've been the lead guitarist in KISS for
almost 10 years.
Yeah, and I understand initially people kind of having that reaction, and it would only be natural. I'd probably almost have the same reaction initially that some of the longest running fans have had. But I think over time
you've earned your stripes.
Yeah, I've earned my stripes. I think I've solidified my spot, and particularly with Sonic Boom and singing, writing, and recording songs that I'm directly a part of now in this incarnation of the band. And I think that it's okay. I really do. I mean, for people to feel passionate one way or another, I mean, it just shows you how much they really care about KISS, almost, more so than you'd see with the average fan, They say that KISS fans are the epitome of fanatic, which is where fan comes from. But it doesn't bother me. I mean, I know where I stand, and I feel like I've, good things take time here, and initially it was big shoes, or tall shoes, I should say, to step into to begin with. But so it's only natural initially that you had a lot of that, and over the years it's really almost gone away. I haven't seen much of that anymore. I mean, there's still some talk, there's some blogs and things, but but people can't argue the fact that, especially when they hear a record like Sonic Boom, where if they've seen the band now with the lineup that it is now for 8 or 10 years, that it's undeniable that they people can't say, "Oh, that sucked." It's to be honest, it seems like it's almost completely the other direction, where people are like saying this is the most potent version the band has ever been in, or the most potent version of the band that they've seen, and it is. It's lethal and it's over the top, and we're out there, doing it every night to the nth degree.
Yeah. And I mean, I think people as fans, like, who wouldn't want to be in Kiss if they had the chance? So
that's the other thing.
What are some of the feelings about? Have you seen Ace perform in the last few years? Like, I saw him a couple years ago, and I was really impressed. I was really surprised. Have you had any chance to hear his new stuff or see him play?
I've checked out his record. I think it's pretty cool, and I've always been a fan, and certainly from the get-go in the early years, and so that's we saw Ace at the Rock Honors, VH1 Rock Honors show 2006 years ago, but I've always been a fan. I think he's great, and it's an honor for me to have filled his shoes now, and
his space boots.
The space boots, space boots. So
it's
nothing but good stuff to say about Ace.
What's in the future? I mean, it seems like you guys have been just touring like crazy since last year.
I mean, once the tour started, like I said, 2.5 years ago, and once we were doing, the Live 35 tour, it became evident that this band needs to get into the studio and record a record.
Yeah.
Whereas Paul and Gene originally, as you probably know, said that we probably won't do that again because there's no reason to, but suddenly there became a reason.
Yeah.
And it's a real honest, kick you in the butt reason. Well, the thing that works so well with that is when a band has been around for over 35 years, and you've seen bands that have come out with records, a lot of times it's kind of like, what, I know it doesn't really feel right, or it's like it's kind of confusing, or you're like, it doesn't have the real feel of what the band is, was originally about, and it's kind of a glossed over, kind of version of something, and I think that the great thing about doing Sonic Boom was that the way we approached this record, and I've been doing this for a while, the way we approached it was totally like a younger, almost new band, really, because we just got together at each other's houses or on the road in the hotel rooms, and just the band members, not outside writers. We didn't have an agenda like to write a hit song or have a radio song come out. We didn't care. It was just about, let's write some great rock and roll songs.
Yeah.
Let's come up with some great riffs and some cool, lyrics that, are just rock and roll, and just stuff that we really love, and that just kind of comes organically when you just kind of sit down with the guitar. And we didn't demo any songs, because a lot of times, you get into the game of, I'm sure you make a demo and then you try to beat the demo and you got blah, blah, blah. Didn't even go there, we just wrote songs, wrote riffs, came up with ideas, just put them on a little recorder, and then the next week we went to this rehearsal room with the band and just went through the tunes. And in the meantime, nobody's hearing the music. We didn't play it for anybody like, what do you think, or here's play for your manager
and that kind of thing.
No, or we didn't have a record label that we had to answer to, so we did it totally organically on our own, completely. It was just really from the gut and really honest in that respect. And I don't know if people believe this, but it's really the way we did it, and that's why it came out so cool and just rock and roll. And
probably for you personally, that meant a lot, since you your first actually recorded stuff with the band.
Oh, exactly. And even when we went to the studio, we didn't do anything fancy. We actually recorded on analog tape.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just recorded 2 or 3 takes at the most, and just like what you would have done. The way you should do it.
The way they did it when they first started,
and didn't try to make everything perfect and all that kind of stuff. And it just, that's why it turned out so great, and that's why it feels right.
Sure.
I think people, feel that way too. I mean, they it hits them that way, and that's the greatest feeling, to know that you pull that off, and it can be done that way if you do it right.
Yeah, that's really cool.